Okay, now we're back to our Slava 2428 date and day complication. We're going to start assembling this. Everything is nice and clean, ready to go. We're just going to basically reverse the order of assembly or disassembly. We're going to just assemble this in the reverse order. Couple interesting things that I've noticed. When I took this apart, I had robbed a spring out of the keyless works. Okay. Yeah, that gear, that colored gear is a beefier, heavier gear or wheel. Let's call that the first wheel, I guess. Is that in focus? Let's check. There you go. I had put a mark on one of the mainspring barrels, and I forgot why I did that. I'm not good at taking notes. Turns out I took one of the keyless works spring out, and I also took a mainspring barrel because I had a broken mainspring from another piece, and when I put a little dot on there with a Sharpie, that's what that was indicating. I was wondering about that, and I thought, did I put that on there because I wanted to match everything up? And I thought, no, that's ridiculous. It wouldn't matter. And turns out when I took it apart to clean it, it was broken. So that was a little note to myself to say, hey, you know, keep an eye on this. It's probably got an issue. And sure enough, it did. Okay, we're just putting these gears back in, wheels, first, second, and then what are we going to call that? The third wheel. Okay. I guess we can call it the third wheel. Alright, come on. Are we in the shot? Alright, we're in the shot. It's been a crazy week, let me tell you. I don't think that's supposed to go there. Oh, wait, maybe I got the wrong gear. No, wait a minute. It's the only gear. The only gear we have. Ah, yeah. Put it in the right jewel, dummy. There you go. What a genius. See? This houses the what do you call that? Escape wheel. There you go. Yes, it's been one of those weeks. A bad, wintry, crappy week. Okay, before we put that bridge on, there are 4 gears we need to capture. First, second, third, and the last one we're going to put in is, what would we call this? I can't even pick it up. Come on, dummy. There you go. What would we call that? That connects the 2 mainsprings, the 2 mainspring barrels. We're going to lay that in there. Okay, so we have 4 points, and then our bridge. Is that in the shot? Close enough? We're going to drop that on. I may do this in more than 2, maybe 3 parts because of the time. Some of these get rather lengthy, these videos. Okay, I just laid that in there. With a bridge like this and those gears, you can see those heavy duty, what I call heavy, because they're coming off that main spring assembly. Those axles are beefier, and they decrease in size as they go because of the amount of torque that's applied to them. I just lay that in there, and if you just touch that gear and rotate it, you can see how everything is just slick, smooth. And if you look over here with this connecting gear and its corresponding jewel and shaft, it is freely rotating. So I'm happy with that. What I'm not happy with is finding a screw. Is that it? Ay, ay, ay. Yep, there it is. We're gonna put a screw in here. I don't know how many parts I'm gonna make out of this, but I feel I need to do several parts. A 40-minute video might be a bit much for some. I don't know. I'm just getting a feel for how things work here. I'm no expert. All right. These are two different kinds of screws. This is a flathead. It's going to sit in that recess. Okay. Tighten this guy. There we go. Now, give that train a test. How's it working? Look at that. Just touch that and that thing spins. I'm putting very little force on that and everything just spins nicely. And then we have this guy here, nice and slick. Now, if you recall, we're going to reverse the order of assembly or disassembly. Our next pieces to go in are going to be that double mainspring assembly. I like to put a little, that might be a bit much. A little grease on that one, a little grease on that one. When I was a car mechanic and working on motorcycles and cars, we called that schmutz. Whatever it was called schmutz. And if anybody knows Yiddish, schmutz is dirt. Well, we're not putting dirt on it. We just call it that. Not to be confused with schmaltz, which is chicken fat. That's what I make my matzo ball soup with. Okay. If you turn one mainspring barrel, everything works together. We come over here and move this one. That train just moves right along. That's pretty slick. I really like these 2428 or 2424. Is it 2424? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna put a little grease on this. Schmutz. No, it's not dirt. We just call it that. I used to ride motorcycles with an old German guy who knew Yiddish pretty good. He said, "Yeah, just call it schmutz." He worked for Mercedes for a while. Okay. We're going to put a little bit of grease, oil, lubricant right on this guy, because that's going to be covered up by our mainspring barrel, our mainspring bridge. Did that just come out of focus? And we won't have access to that. While we're at it, why don't we do all of up here? Sure. Let's get a different oiler. Let's get one. So there's your lesson on schmutz and schmaltz. And of course, it's best to lubricate the mechanic first. Lubricate the watchmaker first. Wine, beer, vodka, whatever it takes. Caffeine in the morning, liquor at night. That reminds me of a joke. Well, not a joke, but an old saying about Joe's All-Night Bar and Casino. Big sign out front said, "Liquor in the front and poker in the rear." Ah, that's a joke. More jokes. Okay, we're going to put this bridge on. I have already taken care of those winding gears and the click. They are clean. Here's the click. Here's a couple. There's a gear. There's a gear. Everything's resting in place, and we're gonna screw that down. Where's my screws? Oh boy. No, I didn't lose them. Lost my mind, but not my screws. Okay. There's a piece of dog hair, or lint. What is that? I don't know, but I got rid of it. It's still on my tweezers. Alright, genius. Okay. A beautiful sunny afternoon. I don't like this. I don't think that screw goes there. Alright. Actually, I think it does. Just not upside down. I just think twice about things and then I retrace my steps and do it again. So maybe I'll hold these down to 20 minute intervals here. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Anybody has a suggestion, negative or positive, I'm up for it. Do you want me to stop telling jokes? I'll stop telling jokes. Okay. Can that? Okay, you can see all that. I put them all in loosely and then come around, tighten up all three. Give them a snug. Okay. I can nudge that winding train and goes to winding train. There you go. I'm going to call that a winding train. Let's continue because everything is serviced as far as this gear, that gear, the click. Let's put our winding gears on. Winding gears. Okay, winding wheels, winding gears. We're going to put a little bit here and a little bit there. Okay. Can't wait for spring. How's that looking? In focus, I hope. Locating a screw. Let me forget about you. These are long threaded, thin headed screws. You get a feel. You start to notice things quickly on what screw goes where, what thread matches what. Is that piece of lint coming up? I just took the dust cover off of this parts holder and I instantly pick up a piece of lint or fuzz. That stuff just gets everywhere. Now the click is holding that, so I'm just tightening it up. Look at that, just the slightest click and that train just moves. That's a good sign. A beautiful thing. Maybe I'll keep these down to 15 minutes. We're coming up on that now. Okay. This still has our Sharpie dot on it. It didn't totally come off in the cleaner. That's okay. Wasn't that dirty to begin with. So let's tighten that one up. Make sure they're tight. There we go. And as we give that a click, the train's moving nicely. Look at that. That's pretty slick. Now, I think now's a good time to do the keyless works. So we're going to flip the movement over. Well, the movement case, or movement plate. Whatever you want to call it. How are we looking? Okay. Yeah, why don't we work up to that point? That should bring us to about 20 minutes. Should. Unless I get long-winded with my yammering, which is quite possible. Okay, one of our gears, clutch gear, winding gear. Okay. I should learn all the names of these parts, but wait a minute. Let's lube that. Let's put a little schmutz on that. That's too much. Put a little schmutz on that gear. Actually, what we should do is put the stem in. Put in the stem, dummy. Put in the stem so it holds everything in place. There you go. Genius. Thank you. Outstanding. We're going to put a little lube. We got some lube left over on that oiler. Put a little in here. Why not? Can't hurt. This is a... oh boy. Can you believe that? Alright. I got a screw sticking to this. Alright. This will be more than 20 minutes. Sorry. More than 20, less than 40. Ay, ay, ay. Come on. There we go. Did you get that? Oh, I'm sure you did. Are we even in the shot? Close. Okay. There's the piece I just installed. This little guy, I wasn't even in the shot probably. This little guy here. That engages the stem. Okay, knock everything out of place, why don't you? Okay. There we go. Now this piece, whoopsie, that's going to go in like that. Oh, is that upside down? There we go. That's going to drop in like that. Let's get in the shot. We're going to drop that in like that, but we got to put that spring in first. The spring that was missing. I robbed Peter to pay Paul spring. It's always springs I'm taking out. Okay, how's that look? Are we in the shot? We're in the shot. Is it in the shot? It's in the shot. Okay. Switch over to my cheapy tweezers. I'm going to put a finger on the back end of that spring. Fairly simple. You don't want to move anything right now because that is spring loaded. Kinetic energy stored. That's a bit much. Let's put a bit of grease right there. That'll work. Pick up our plate. Pin together. It's all pinned in there. And let's drop a screw in. Oopsie, I dropped it. Can you believe it? Of course. So turns out those balance jeweled springs, this guy right here, I thought was brass. It is in fact magnetic. So it must be steel, spring steel, plated in brass. Because I was running around the floor looking for another spring that I had dropped, and I picked it up, the one that took off on us the other day. So it is in fact a ferrous metal and probably has a coating of brass. Okay, because it did stick to my magnet, and it wasn't static, it was a magnetic pull. Okay, we're going to test the keyless works. Why isn't it working? Okay. Did I put that in upside down? I did. Yes, I did. See? Guess which part I put in upside down. We're going to run this into 25 minutes, and here's why. I neglected to orient that lever properly. See, it's a good thing I'm doing this for you guys, so you don't worry about it. You can say, oh, I know what to do. Because that dummy, he screwed it up, so we learn from him. Well, that's what I'm good at. Learn from my mistakes. I'll demonstrate in a second what I'm talking about. Because those keyless works are not working. They are not engaging and disengaging. So, learn from my mistakes, so you don't have to undo everything. The good thing is, when you test it as you go, you don't have to undo too much. Alright, let's relieve that spring. There we go. And I'll tell you the part that I put in upside down or backwards or whatever you want to call it. This little guy. He wasn't looking right, and I didn't realize we need to turn him over. And when you see how it is oriented with the rest of the keyless works, especially in this area here and engaging that wheel, you realize, hey dummy, you didn't put it in right. That's why it's good to test things as you go, or just remember to do it right the first time. Sometimes I get a little hasty and go, hey, that looks good. Turns out, not so much. Okay, little detour. And if you look at that complete assembly, look how nice it looks. It's made it up properly. Just checking the focus. What did I do with that plate? Oh boy. I put it down and don't remember where. Are you kidding? Oh, there it is. Like I said, it's one of those days. Okay. It's nice when you have precision fit pins. They just snap right in. There's one. Now we're looking in the shot. We're in the shot. Beautiful. Getting to be that 25-minute mark. Or, yeah. Oh crap, where'd it go? See, took my eyes off it for a second to look at the time. So we're coming up on 25 minutes. We are going to tighten these up, test those keyless works, learn from my mistake of putting that lever in backwards. Hopefully we learn. How's it looking? Oh, look at that. It works. Wow. It's amazing when you do things right how good they work. There's your time setting position. And there's your winding position. So let's end this for now. We're going to call this part 1. I don't know how many parts there are going to be. There's probably going to be a lot. Maybe not. I don't know. But for now, let's just dummy up. Okay. On to the next one.